Welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
And welcome to our Meet the Author series once again. And do we have an exciting one for you? Not only an author author friend, but just in general, like a lovely human being, Tasneem Alam.
Woo! Welcome.
So just before we get into this, just because we said this off camera, yes, you are allowed to cuss, girl. We are good. Be wary of little listening ears for you all out there, or if you don't care, cool on you.
Good on you.
Be the cool mom that lets them. So yes, before we get started, just go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience. What do? Who are you?
My name is Tasneem Alam. I am a dark romance fantasy author. I write emotionally intense stories with supernatural elements, complex characters, and themes of power, fate, and obsession. My goal is to create immersive worlds that stay with readers and keep you guys thinking about the story way after you're finished reading it.
Sorry,
that's so sweet.
That was actually really good.
That's such a good intro.
It's not that nobody comes with anything, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god, that was just a complex story. Yes. I'm already invested. Like, already.
Indeed.
I pulled it from my Goodreads reviews.
You know what? Do you remember like those old things where they'd be like, okay, what are 3 words your friends would say about you? It's like, that's how I feel like Goodreads is, or just even reviews in general. I'm like, wait, what are people saying about me? Because I can't even think about what to say about me.
Yeah, no, talking about yourself is so hard.
It is.
That's why we don't like marketing as indie authors. We just don't like marketing. It sucks. Please buy my book.
Honestly, giving like an honest moment of just being like, yeah, we're all struggling. Please buy my book, please. Please.
Please. I need the money, but also you'd love it. But I need the money.
It's entertaining, I swear.
I worked really hard on it.
So to start us off, big general question. How did you get into writing?
Ooh, okay. So growing up as a child, growing up, I was given a lot of notebooks and pens as gifts. And at some point I had like all these notebooks and I was like, what do I do with these notebooks? So eventually it was like a Dear Diary thing, right? Like, so I was writing my diaries in them. So I was always like a little bit of a writer, but it wasn't until 5th grade that we had to write our own Cinderella story, right? Like, it was like a fanfic and we just had to write our own Cinderella story. And mine was the longest. I was up there reading my story for at least 30 minutes. That was long. And the 45-minute class, that was a long story. And I just, like, I was obsessed with it. I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is fun. And I found that I really enjoyed diving into a new world and just telling a story. And the rest is history.
First of all, I just like, as a Cinderella fan, we never had that.
Really?
I never had fun writing. Like, okay, this is why I hate writing, dude. Is because all of my English teachers were just like, literally my opposite. My opposite version of that was, I fucking hate Cinderella. You need to write an aggressive paper about how much you hate Cinderella. And I wrote, oh my God, I love love. And I love the Princess Cinderella and how that she gave me a C just because of that. She did not like that it was happy and optimistic. So I'm happy for you that you actually had a good experience.
I actually had really amazing English and history teachers. And those are the subjects that stayed with me. And those are the topics that I love exploring. Like, obviously I'm a writer, so English right there. And then I was a history major at my undergrad. So it was
rad.
That's how impactful history and English has been in my life, like from a really young age, because of the teachers I had. So
yeah.
That's always special.
Yeah, teachers are important, you know.
So respected. Yeah. So respected to me for sure. I even still call my like teachers that I like elementary school. I said Mrs. Patton. I don't call her Kara.
Oh yeah, no, that's like, so awkward. not just that they're not my teachers anymore, so I could call them by their first name, but it's just a respect thing, like you are my teacher. I'm not gonna call you by your first name, unless we become friends in a really strange world. But
Yeah.
My school had this really weird thing where we never used like Mrs. or Mr. We just used their last name alone. So, like, for example, my 6th grade LA teacher was Timken. It was very strange and not very respectful. It's like Tipkin, Petrovic, Jones. It's like, what the heck?
What school did you go to?
A mountain school.
A tiny mountain school in a tiny mountain village.
With like 20 people.
In my class.
You know what it sounds like though? It's like, yo, Walters. Like it doesn't sound like a good thing.
Sounds like
No,
Harry
it
Potter,
doesn't.
but you guys are student teacher.
Oh my god. Yeah, Potter.
McGonagall. Snape.
McGonagall.
I didn't even think about that.
Dumbledore.
That is so amazing. Oh my god.
Without the accent.
Without So moving on then about your right. So what genres or tropes do you personally love the most?
So personally, I love to read fantasy and, of course, and romance, and dark romance has been a new development because I grew up with romance and then I didn't know dark romance existed until 2024. Okay, so just bring that up. I didn't know smut was a thing for books. Like I stumbled upon a trashy novel when I was too young, and I was like, "What is this?" So I read it, but I was way too fucking young to even read it. And I never touched anything after that until 2024 and Fourth Wing and Akatar. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, fantasy, dark romance, enemies to lovers, childhood loves. One of my favorite is childhood love. Like the trope of like young love and just falling in love as like babies.
Yeah.
And it's just so cute. Fated mates and found family, chosen family, like your chosen tribe.
Yes.
Morally gray to dark characters because rage is so valid sometimes. And,
Yeah.
power struggles, of course, because the world we live in, man.
Honestly.
And I'm glad that you brought up like the tropes as what makes I feel like this new romantasy genre, even dark romantasy, like a thing, is about the chosen family and like the dynamics of I would say both either the MMC, for people who don't know, my father, the male main character, or the female main character, the FMC, is that like there is an element to that and a story of like a higher purpose in this, like in the story. Like romance is like a major theme and that's why it's in there. But there's also stuff happening that's like in their community, that's happening to their tribes, their people, something like an outside force is or even an internal force. Who knows? But I like that you bring that up because that's something sometimes in this genre where I can get a little bit controversial with some of the fandom and be like, this is so important. As someone who didn't necessarily have the greatest family growing up, my parents are great. Family in a whole of like, I met people along the way who have become my family.
Yeah.
And it's like my own inner circle, if you will. And that's so important to me in this genre.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, like, I mean, FMCs and MMCs wouldn't be FMCs and MMCs if they didn't have a story to tell, right? Like, they weren't fighting
right.
Or even the bad fight, whichever. But, like, they're doing something with their purpose or what they think their purpose is. Or else you're just an average chick.
Or finding their purpose, at least.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to be clarified, though. Your book is going to be my first dark romance.
Really?
I have never read, and people have been wanting to be, fans have been wanting me to get into dark romance for the longest time.
I wouldn't say Asworld's Tilt is dark romance in the genre that dark romance is, because, like, yeah, it does explore darker themes like emotional and mental experiences because of relationships, like with Josh's infidelity. I think it's pretty obvious. Like we talked
Damn.
about it on socials already.
Yeah.
And her dealing with that. So that would be like the dark romance aspect, but it's definitely a lot more dark fantasy because there's a lot of magic and shifters and paranormal urban fantasy. So I think it's a freaking salad of everything.
Well, at least it'll be my intro into
Yeah,
maybe like going towards that direction if I so choose.
100%. And if you need recommendations, I got you.
Yes, please, please. For sure.
Well, talking about purpose. So this is like a question that I always ask myself and like think about myself. Like, how important are like reading and writing in your life? And are there any like books and series that influenced you to make you so like into this?
Yeah, I love that question. Reading and writing is so important in my life. As a teenager, I used to read a lot. And then from reading, I started writing, but it was definitely like in middle school, elementary school, I was reading a lot before I even started writing. And it was my escape, right? And it's not like that I had any traumatic childhood growing up or anything like that. It was just, I don't know, it was just my thing. I love to read. I was always a reader. My mom would just take me to the library. And that's how it started, right? Like in second grade, I think was when I can remember going to the library for the first time with my mom. And that's when I really like started enjoying picking out books and just, my mom would get like 5 books, I don't know, like a month or something for me, or a week, I can't remember. And because another thing was that I was a slow reader. I was a late talker. And then in first grade, it's kindergarten, first grade, my teachers were like, she's behind on her reading, like she's not keeping up with her times, because we had that little timer thingy. I don't know if you guys remember those
Oh my
little packet
God.
booklets, and then you had the timers, and you had to read a certain in like a minute or 5 minutes or whatever it was, and I was behind. So my mom bought a timer, or she was given a timer, and we would practice after work. I mean, after homework.
Right.
Another 30 minutes of just reading, and so reading, like she really prioritized that for me, was reading. So eventually we started going to the library and getting books, and so it's always been a part of my life. And then writing eventually became like, I was always a Dear Diary girl, like I always had a diary. So I was always writing, but then storytelling, when I discovered that I enjoyed it and I was actually good at it. Not that anybody really ever read them, but I just loved it so much. I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And I would just keep doing it. It's always been my outlet. It's always been my creative outlet. I'm brown. We don't believe in therapy. Like my family doesn't believe in therapy. Even if you need it, whether you need it or not, therapy is family time. But sometimes you just need to be by yourself. And that's what I did. I would write and read my stories, be in my room, go to your room was the best thing somebody could tell me.
Yes, definitely.
I had my music in there. I had my books. I had my journals. I'm good. Like at that time, I didn't have in my room. So, yeah, so it's a good time.
It's like, I know I shouldn't laugh at that, but it's like in the sense of like I'm laughing because like I feel that. Not the being brown part, but like the having family that didn't believe in therapy. Not that my parents are like more like they're cool with it now.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things when I first said, I was like, oh, I'm getting a therapist. They were like, because they just jumped to they're like, are you suicidal? Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like, I mean, even if that was like, obviously still go.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's like you only went if you had like a fucking extreme.
Yeah, like a really nutcase situation, right?
Right.
And then I feel like with brown parents, they take it so personally, like they failed you, or they feel like a failure as a parent, and so it's like it's on that end, and then it's about them, and it's just like,
yeah,
for myself, like this isn't about you. Maybe you should go to therapy with me. But anyway,
and I really do appreciate what you said though about like kind of going as an escape, because that's also something in the fandom that sometimes like I can, because I did the same thing in terms of like going to my books during like a really rough couple years. That's actually honestly where I started my narrating origin stories without realizing I did. Like,
Literally.
I have always, when I started doing acting in high school, because my mom sent me to one theater audition. She was like, "Oh yeah, like you should do this. You're loud."
Can't do that because in theater you have to hug boys.
Oh shit!
You can't
Yeah,
hug
no,
boys.
I didn't even do dance in PE. I got a note.
that's
Wow.
that's crazy. I mean, but that's damn.
Here I am at dark romance.
No wonder you write. That's
How'd you
the
get
thing,
from one
though.
point to the other?
You know, descriptive parents create the most rebellious children, right?
Dude,
That's
the
true.
Catholic students down the street were the horniest motherfuckers like in our city. Like it was bad. They also did the most coke. But
I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, so some stories that really inspired me, and I'm a Potterhead, Slytherin all the way. I mean, can you tell I'm wearing green?
Hey, Slytherin.
Harry Potter, like, say what you want about J.K. Rowling, but Harry Potter, ride or die. That's my book. That's my series. Grew up on it. And then the Night World series by L.J. Smith. She's the author of Secret Circle, Vampire Diaries, but I loved her lesser popular series, which is the Night World series.
I have to put that on my list.
Yeah, you should totally read it. They're amazing. I actually like it better than Vampire Diaries, and I did not like the Vampire Diaries books, but the series were amazing. Love the series.
Right.
And then books by Ali Carter. They were spy books, like boarding school for spies. I Tell You I Love You, but then I'd have to kill you or something. Like I think that was one of the titles.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it was real popular when I was like in middle school. And then the Boxcar Children. I loved the Boxcar Children. Like I would binge read those. I'd get like a whole stack of them, and I'd reread them. They were my comfort.
So you just became Liesel's favorite person.
Could you tell by my spacing out?
Memory lane, right?
Right.
It's just because I know her, and I'm like, she fucking loves the Boxcar Children.
Love just having a big family of 4 kids. Like I being an only child, like that was just amazing to me. Like you have siblings, you have that many siblings, and you get along.
So here's the thing. I don't even want to get into that, but like it's one of those things with like Harry Potter is like I love the series and I love like the books, and it's I don't know. That's like a conversation like off camera.
That's another podcast.
It's another podcast, but it's just like I don't hate on people who still like the books. That's all I want to say, because I think that the story is so good, and like it was what most of us grew up on.
Yeah, and I feel like aside from the like, I don't like getting involved in the drama of like book world or any drama like politics, anything. Like it's just we're reading to escape, bro. Like what do you mean you want to talk about this drama with me? But anyway, right. I feel like with Harry Potter especially, it was such a core identity because we were introduced to it at such a young age, and then the movies as well, that it just I don't know. For me, it's definitely like I judge people. It's like, what are you? Are you a Hufflepuff? A Ravenclaw? What are you?
It's such a
forget about zodiac signs. Tell me your Hogwarts house.
So I'm a Gryffindor, by the way.
I'm not surprised at all. Either that or Hufflepuff.
Everyone thinks I'm a Hufflepuff though, but it's like I'm very much like the Hermione of the Gryffindor house. Without like the little bit of pretentiousness, like I'm a mix between Harry and Hermione. But no, I wanted to say that because it's like it was a part of my growing up. Percy Jackson, Harry Potter, Divergent, that was like a big one for me. And it's like I don't know, they set up the Maze Runner, dear God, Dylan O'Brien, hot. Anyway,
he's my favorite character in Teen Wolf. Of course, Raquel, but
it set up, I think, the ACOTAR, the fourth wing of our generation, like the romantasy genres that we have today, and I think they set them up very well.
Yeah. And I think like when I was trying to figure out the answer to your questions, I was like, I could easily say fourth wing and ACOTAR, but that's not the truth, right? Because it started way before that. It started with Vampire Diaries. It started with Harry Potter. So I'm going to stay true to that.
So then I know you kind of already said this, like in terms of like how you would classify your book, but I guess just for our audience again to clarify what your genre is, and like I always like to ask like the target demographic is one of those things where it's like, as an author, you want to. I don't know. Like, my dad loves the Akatar books because he loved the graphic
There's always
audio.
an outlier.
There's always one, and so I guess like it's kind of like a hard question because of the genre, but I wanted to curious what your answer would be.
Yeah, so I would classify Asworld's Tilt and my Supernatural series as dark fantasy romance with paranormal and supernatural urban fantasy elements. So in current terms, I would say if you love Crescent City, you would absolutely 100% love my world. It's just I loved Crescent City because I was like, oh my god, we have futuristic stuff here. Like I love that.
Yeah, for
It was
sure.
like you have the fantasy elements with the fae and the angels and all that, and all these diverse supernaturals living together, and then you also have modern society and clubbing and drugs, and I mean, not to promote drugs or anything, but it's just so cool to explore that, and like cafes with blood coffee or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember if that was in CC, but it's in my books. Yeah, so that would be the genre I would classify my books in. And then for demographics, I would say adult readers, readers who are drawn to morally complex characters, who love world building. So I'm not gonna like demographic wise, I wouldn't be able to classify.
Right.
As long as you're 18 plus, you're good. It's not
Right.
not 18. Who love real world building, readers who need a larger plot, a larger problem in this book, like that's beyond like what's going on in their world, or like their intimate world, like like a larger villain who's about to like fucking fuck up the world, who wants that story, who wants like the history, who likes diving into the deeper like pasts and stuff like that, alongside with intense emotional roller coaster romance. Like, of course, we have to have the romance. It's not a fun story without it.
I'm glad you knew what I meant because I didn't mean like demographic as in like
Age-wise.
specifics, or like it's more just like who's this for? But I'm glad telepathy was going on there.
Yep.
So. That's wonderful though. I mean I loved CC as well. Lisa's not there yet, but
Lisa.
I will be soon.
Will be so soon. So, but I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So I just love that you have all of your answers written out.
Yeah,
I so thought out.
There are questions, and I put it on my own doc, and I put the answer so it wouldn't confuse you guys.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate. No, I just love how well thought out your answers are.
I did this like literally 30 minutes before we had to get on. I was trying to do it earlier, but I was like, no, I have to like edit my book. So yeah, it was a thing.
But I think literally most people just wait for us to answer the question. All right, but actually that was kind of a good place for a pause because now we're kind of shifting from talking all about you and how you got into writing into your book and what it's about. So why don't you just give us like the summary or talk about what your book is about?
So Asworld's Tilt is a re-release, first of all, and the story is still very similar to the original story, but I had to blow it up. I really did. And the new story, the new release it still follows Rose Craving. She's a shifter princess, and she thought her life was planned out. She was supposed to marry, and she's made it to the beta warrior. So she shifts, she gets married to him. Normal, easy life. You're popular, you're rich, you're famous, you're a princess. But of course, that's not how life goes ever. So she was supposed to shift into a wolf, and she does, but she shifts into a certain type of wolf that pack has always only been the princes of shifter kind. They've only been royal men. So her mate, her brother, their friends, like, but always the guys, like it's only men. And then there's her who shifts into their pack, and she's only female. And so it's like, okay, what do we do now? So a lot of like spirituality and religion ties into this, and her brother is like, well, this was a divine decree. The divine decided this. We're rolling with it, and that's where I stand with this. And of course, not everybody agrees with that, even if they say they're religious. And they're like, nope, she's a female. She's a woman. Can't happen. So trying to navigate that, and then also her mate hates her, and she's trying to figure out why he hates her. He won't tell her why he hates her. And then eventually he does, and she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Ain't no fucking way. That's not true. I know you hate me, but are you like you're really gonna pull this out of your ass?" But eventually she comes up, she goes digging into it, and of course she finds out her memories wiped of the event that he's referring to. And so the book is about her trying to get back her memories and then also bridge this gap between her and her mate, because they do have a deadline. They have to mate within the year of her transformation, or else they both die, because being mates is divinely gifted to them, and if they don't mate, that's like basically you're slapping the divine in the face, like no, I'm not, they're not good enough for me, and divine's like, okay, you die then. So
Damn.
it's just disrespectful to not mate with your mate.
Damn, only a year. Like,
Yeah.
that's some pressure.
It's not pressure, your mates, like, get it
I mean,
on.
fair. But if you don't get along with your mate,
You know, they're lucky they have mates. Some of us are still looking for ours.
Shit, yeah.
damn, call us out
It's
on
just
that.
ungrateful.
We're all the same boat.
So yeah,
Sorry, I want to let you finish. Sorry.
yeah. So she goes on this journey to like get her memories back, and it's like, okay, do I get my memories back? And then there's all of this conspiracy theories happening, or like conspiracies going on. Yeah, so that's the book is about her getting her memories back, and I'll let you finish reading that then.
No, I'm excited to read it because, like, at this point in time, as we're recording this, my old manager Shannon,
Yeah.
love heart, she and when I need to tell this to you in person, also on record, she is one of the most critical people I've like, but like in a very fair and loving way. She's a very practical, constructive woman, and that's what I love about her. And the fact that she's like over the moon. That
Yeah.
like also she does not make reels in the middle of the night. Like I as soon as I saw that reel, I was like, she must really fucking love it. And I had no doubt that she would love your book. And you know, getting the arc read and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so I just want to let you know, in my mind, that is a huge deal.
I love that. I love hearing that. I love whenever somebody loves my book in general, because it's like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I love that you loved it. But hearing something like that, like that's just so rewarding.
Even from the little snippet, it sounds so unique in like a way that it's like, okay, someone would hear shifter romance, paranormal, like da da da, and they think, okay, this is gonna be a run of the mill kind of like, but like some similar tropes or whatever. But as soon as you said the main guy hates her, I'm saying like this is a real like, not just like the kaha, like, you know, I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
It's full on like, no.
Yeah, like he hates her to the point it's like, I'm not even gonna dignify you by answering you by telling you why I hate you. Like, figure it out.
And the implications of I would rather die than like, especially if there was a time frame there, like that already sets another element to it that I didn't even realize. It's like, oh shit.
I think whenever people ask me what is your book about, it's just I give you this blurb, right? But I like in my head I'm just like, that's not doing it justice, because everybody who's read the book can tell you that it's so much more. Like you're not prepared. Nobody can prepare you for what this book is about and what goes on in this book. And I can't even tell you. Oh, like you just gotta read it.
It's just I'm so hyped, actually, so hyped. So I guess what inspired you to write this story?
Taylor Swift's Untouchable album, the deluxe album, came out when I was in 8th grade, and I was homeschooled that year. And I was a huge Taylor Swift fan, right? So I was listening to that album day and night, and I had a dream based on the Untouchable song. And it wasn't Rose and Josh's story. It was the books 3 and 4, the FMC MMC. It was their characters. So I started writing their story. And then there was, I forget when or why I shifted, but I shifted. No pun intended.
We love.
But Rose and Josh's story came about that werewolf story because they were werewolves. They had a pack and everything, and I was like, okay, let me like throw in some royal elements in here, and so that's kind of how Rose and Josh's story came about. So they weren't even the first book in the series, but then I was like, okay, I can put them together. They were standalones pretty much.
Mm.
And then I was like, why do that? Why not just put them together? And so books 3 and 4 became books 3 and 4, and Rose and Josh's story became the first books and first duology in the series, because I thought it would be better to start off with the hierarchies, the world building from the royal perspective, because it's like you get the overall view and understand the world before diving into the regular packs.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. I love that inspiration comes from music. It always happens.
Oh yeah, music. I was actually a poetry poet. What do you call it?
You're a poet?
Yes, thank you.
A poet.
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
say poest.
English is hard.
Girl, you're good.
I used to write a lot of poetry before I got into writing stories. So I would listen to music and I would write. I would try to write my own songs. Like songs are huge. Like I do write my own songs. I'm working on an album for As Rolls Tilts and the series. So yeah, I know money's a thing, but we're working on
Right.
that. But I wrote all the lyrics and we're just waiting to like get that going. But music is a huge part of my world and my writing.
You could also make a Spotify playlist.
I do have a Spotify playlist for Oswald.
Oh, you do? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, but
That
I
means
wanted
you
like a
definitely have to
soundtrack
share it.
for the books.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You definitely gotta share it with us so we can put it in with this episode.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, the playlist for
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the description.
It's on my link tree.
All right, so gotta ask why. Like, I didn't know that there was a re-release of your book. So why did you have it as a re-release, and what's different from the first version and this re-release?
So I released As Rolls Tilt 3 times prior to this. This was the original copy, original version, first edition. This was a senior project for my high school. So like in college you have a thesis, right? Or like your graduate project that you need to do. So in high school, we had a miniature version of that to prepare us for college and stuff. So we had like a year-long senior project that we needed to do, and everybody wrote books, right? Like that's the easy part. So I was like, let me well, for me, it was the easy part because I was like, I've been writing for a while, so let me challenge myself. And I could have totally just winged it and like just sat on my ass and just did nothing and just showed them a book that I wrote. But I was like, well, let me just take it to the next step and see if I can publish it. And so I self-published this before self-publishing was a thing. And so I did it just for the project, and I didn't do anything with it. And then KDP, back then it was CreateSpace, and then they changed it to KDP. I had my manuscript already uploaded to KDP, but I never hit published. So I had that for a while, and then it was like 2023, and I was in grad school, and I finished my homework, and I was on KDP. I was just staring at it for a little bit. I was like, what would happen if I hit publish? And then I hit publish, and I was like, okay. And then 3 hours later, I get an email from Kindle, and they're like, congratulations, your book has been published. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I didn't mean to do that. So that's how we got this one. Well, there was another cover before this, but my friends had digitally hand-drawn this cover. And this was the accidental publishing. And then so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm a published author now.
Yeah.
And I still didn't do anything with the book. It was just kind of there. It existed out there. I wasn't pushing it. I obviously was in grad school, so I had other priorities.
Right.
And in 2024, I got into the Bay Area Book Festival. And so I was preparing for that. And I came out with this. So, sorry, that was 2025. But I published the vampire series after in 2024, and then Bay Area Book Festival happened in 2025, and I came out with this new cover for Azrael's Tilt because I thought it was pretty and it was AI, and now
That
it's
is so pretty.
It is.
it was like exactly kind of what I imagined, and then the wolf and it was like the vibes, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that was a really bad decision because people don't like AI.
Which is true. They don't.
Yeah, no, it was such a bad experience. Like this man at the book festival, he was like, "Oh, is that AI?" And he didn't even first of all let us answer the question, and he just kind of like threw the book on the table and just walked away. And I was like,
Oh.
I can understand you having your opinions, but how does that make you a good person for doing that at all? You know,
No.
That's just the cover too. It's like people get so upset of even just the cover of a book.
yeah, and well, they think if the cover's AI, the book is AI too. But it's like,
Which is
Right.
like,
you know, there's a thing about assuming things. You know,
yeah.
anyway,
Didn't even give it a chance.
and that's okay. One person doing that makes me closer to the next sale. So I was in marketing, so 1% rejection is redirection and protection, so it's okay. I'm not upset about it.
We also have a thing also in the acting world where it's like, you know what? They're talking. What did Cardi B say? Even if the haters are talking, you still listen to my album, bitch.
It's like if they're talking
That
about you,
publicity is still publicity, right? Like,
right. So same thing.
mhm. So that happened, and then I was writing the book too. And so this was originally supposed to be a trilogy. It was supposed to be Azrael's Tilt and Truths Collide, Animosity Rises. I'm not using those titles anymore, so I can say it. It was going to be 3 FMCs following their stories, just one point of view, and it was going to be short and sweet and whatnot, right? But then I wrote book 2. I gave it to my editor, and she said she wanted more. Like, this was a good story, but it felt surface level. Like, this could be so much deeper. So Deeper went from 420 pages to 800 some pages. And I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense for book 2. And I wasn't even done writing it. So I was like, it doesn't make sense for book 2 to be 800 pages and book 1 to be 324 pages or whatever. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do a novella to bridge the gap a little bit. But that wasn't going to do it justice, so I just put everything on pause. I was supposed to publish the book 2 in September of 2025. I canceled that, and I think it was October where I decided to rewrite Azrael's Tilt and do a re-release. So it still follows the same characters: Rose, Josh, Shane, Devon. They're all the warrior pack is still the same. I changed very few names around. The foundation, it's still enemies to lovers. There's still a traumatic event that happened in the past. There's still like family secrets that are like the basics that were in the first story, but the lore is different. There's history elements that I brought in. The world building is completely different because in the first book it was like the world was just werewolves and shifters and just werewolf shifters. But I was like, if there's werewolf shifters, why are there not wolf like giraffe shifters or mermaids or, you know, like other shifters? Why is it just like they're the warriors of shifter kind? And if I'm saying shifter kind, then there should be a kind.
Right.
there should be more kinds.
Yes. And so blew it up, made it a whole corporation situation. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of world building.
They've got LLCs.
Yeah. So basically to write book 2, I had to rewrite the first book. And since it's the first book, it sets the foundation and the tone, because all my supernatural series will be intertwined. Their main villains and the big legends and stuff, they will be mentioned in other series and other books. Mm-hmm. So book 1 had to be perfect.
Right.
Creating bigger, a universe.
Broader. Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's been a journey.
I love what you said, because it makes me think, like, I couldn't even imagine, again, as someone who doesn't write, like, it's kind of like the Thomas Edison quote of like, I'll try again and try again until I like get it right. And it's like, I really think you're inspiring. Like, it just that just, even though I'm not a writer, like that inspired me. And so like just seeing even the covers change in terms of like I can just see the evolution.
Oh yeah.
And seeing how it looks now.
That feels like Yes,
Right.
the new cover, so pretty.
Which I love.
It feels like just because I'm only just starting my writing career, it feels like the idea like this is almost mind blowing in a way because it's like it feels like once you publish a book, that's it. It's out there.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
So when I thought about rewriting it and re-releasing it, I was like, this is so embarrassing, right? Because what do you mean you're redoing it? But honestly, as indie authors, we're indie authors. We can do whatever we want.
That's true. There's more
And it's
freedom
one
that
of the
way.
reasons why I am very hesitant to go trad. I like my freedom of doing what I
Mhm.
want and promoting it how I want. And if I need to re-release it again, I can do that. I mean, does it look good? Maybe not, but is it gonna be better? Hell yeah.
Is it
So
inspiring? Yeah.
so it's okay, you know, like that's just life. You just live and learn, trial and errors, like, and owning it. And it's just, you know, it creates, I'm actually very proud of it because maybe other authors want to re-release their book. Maybe they don't like their first book or they had a really bad experience doing it the first time, so they want to do it again. You can do it. It's not
That's
embarrassing.
true.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, I mean, you kind of kept most of the like the main characters from the original story.
Oh yeah.
Why did you decide then on the re-release instead of another book with new story elements in it?
Because again, it was the first story in the series, and it sets the foundation for the later books and the later series. So, and I wanted Rose and Josh. Rose and Josh are so special to me. They've been together. They've been with me and together with me since high school at the very earliest. So that's a while now. um,
Yeah.
and I wanted to do their story justice. I wanted their story is supposed to be legendary, and they come in to the later books, and people they're mentioned a lot. They make an appearance, and they're Rose and Josh. So
Yeah.
they're like Fair and Sand and Hunt and Bryce, you know. So they're Rose and Josh for their world, and that's their story needed to be epic.
You know what it reminds me of? Just for my hockey fans out there. Um it
You know where this
reminds
is
what a different dynamic. It reminds me of like the Scott Hunter and oh god, people are gonna actually the fandom's gonna come after me. I don't remember the other guy's name. Oh, Kip from oh my
What's the
god,
show?
what's the show called? Wait, what?
I'm Googling now.
Hockey romance title. What the fuck? What is it called? Oh my god, I hate myself. What? No.
Is it
Heated
not Heated
Rivalry. Oh my
Rivalry? Oh, it is
god.
Heated Rivalry.
Thank
I thought you were
god.
talking about a different one.
No.
I know. I thought you were talking about it.
No, Heated Rivalry.
Because it's like I didn't think that you would forget Heated
Yeah,
Rivalry
same.
title.
That's what I was
Girl,
thinking of.
it's
You
been a
forgot it.
long
Sorry,
day.
I was like questioning myself.
It's been a long day. Okay, so actually guys, remember Heated Rivalry.
Yes.
It reminded me of Kip and Scott Hunter and how their relationships, I've heard, because I haven't read the books, their relationship started all the other relationships that go on in the future books. Like, they're kind of like, since he was the one who is the first one that openly comes out as gay in their world. Like, that, so when you were talking, that reminded me of that. So I was like, again, you did it first.
Yeah.
But
A little bit, I guess. But I mean, they're mates, so maybe not. But
Well,
I get what you're trying to say.
more so in the sense of like it's a book that's not going to when their story's done, we're not going to see them again. Like it
Oh yeah,
led
they'll be back.
to something else. Yeah.
At this
Yeah,
point,
and
like
then
Heated Rivalry is becoming such a trope. Like with all the hockey boys and stuff, they're gonna end up having a werewolf Heated Rivalry version, like
I would not be
werewolf
surprised.
hockey boys.
It's like Teen Wolf meets Heated Rivalry.
Right. Like it's like people are getting all into hockey now and go to the boy aquarium, and it's like I was in the boy aquarium. I played hockey for 6 years.
The boy aquarium.
I was in that boy aquarium.
I will tell you though, I'm definitely not a fan of contentment romance, unless like it's gay.
Mm.
Like, like if it's a gay romance, I can totally get around to watching it. But like when I see a straight contemporary romance, sometimes I'm like, I'm triggered. I'm jaded. I'm upset by contemporary straight romance.
Yeah.
Like, I need to, yeah.
Well, that's another reason why I need like a bigger story. I need a bigger plot. I can't just do romance. Like even with like dark romance, sometimes it like I have to walk away from it after like reading one book. I have to go read something else, do other stuff, and then come back to it months later and read another dark romance book. But I can't just do dark romance, dark romance, dark romance. Like it's just, ugh.
Right,
Yeah, it
right.
can get intense for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then with the re-release, I also decided to do so these books, they're not spicy. They're very YA. I changed this to adult, and we're obviously dark fantasy and dark romance, and it's dual POVs. So we have Rose and Josh's POV, which we didn't have Josh's POV in the first publishings. Yeah.
We always love the MMC POV.
And then it's spicy as fuck.
Which I personally am excited for.
Well, speaking of moving it from YA to adult, what would you say your major themes are in the book? Like, what are you exploring in terms of themes, and what do you hope your readers take away from reading your book series?
Major themes that I'm exploring in As Worlds Tilt is power play with the hierarchies, the not explicit sexually, power play as in politics. Thank you, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
Politics, power, the shift of her being a female warrior and that
Yeah.
not being a thing. Like now she has to navigate this male dominant world. And betrayals of all in every capacity, from people, from family to people she's trusted, to mentors, to her own mate. Like it's just a lot. There's a little touch on destiny and free will, but not too much, because they are again like religious. So it's like, do you divine or do you want to do your own thing? And it's also like, do you trust the divine or do you trust the people who say they trust the divine? So a lot of that too. And then identity, like she's 18 years old, so she's coming into adulthood, and she thought she knew one thing, and now her whole world's been literally tilted, and she's trying to navigate that. So she's trying to figure out who the fuck she is, and plus with her memory wipe, she also literally doesn't remember things. So people are fucking with her mind, and she learns that, and she's just like, so what's real? Who can I trust? So trusting herself, trusting her own power, because she can't trust anybody, and sometimes even her own mind, she can't even trust that. So yeah, it's
That adds an interesting element out of the gate for me that like I haven't seen. And again, I'm not the be all end all of books. But I in the sense of like I know a bunch of things. Like it's like I haven't read as much as most or probably most of your readers even have. But to me, I've never come across something like that. Or like something that was, how do I say, like with that, I mean, obviously there's been times where someone's memory has gotten wiped, but right at the start, I've never seen something like that, and I really, really like it.
Where it's almost like we're going on the same journey with the character as she finds her memories.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Well, it adds another element because, like, the multitasking in my brain is really happy about this because, on one hand, stuff's happening. She's getting like to be like this power dynamic is shifting where she's the only woman, but also this personal shit on the side. It also represents life in a very symmetrical way, which I love. Of like, okay, stuff's going on, personal shit's happening, but wait.
Yeah, and I think that's why when I was told to get like a developmental editor, I was like, no, because the story is messy. There's no
Mm,
right way to tell it. The only right way to tell it is just chronologically. Like, so there's
yeah.
dates on the chapters, there's dates of like what
Mm.
because she gets her mind wiped throughout the book. It's not just a one time event that happens. It's like
Ah.
throughout the books, people are fucking with her mind. So as readers, we see that. So it's technically, I would say, three point of views. It's Josh, Rose, present day, and Rose when she has her memories, and then her memories wiped. So there's like two Roses.
I feel like
Interesting.
Yeah.
that's I think I've read like maybe one other book that kind of reads like that, where
Mhm.
it reads like a diary, which kind of makes sense if that's
A
where
little
you
bit.
started with diary stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, a little, that's interesting. I never really put the two together, but yeah, it does. I mean, the only thing is that I don't say Dear Diary, or, it doesn't have
Right.
that element to it, but yeah,
But
with the
it's
date.
like this is the
Yeah.
date, and you
Hmm.
see that in shows a lot too, where it's like it starts in the middle and then
Yeah.
36 hours earlier or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes, exactly. And I loved that. Like, that's a really personally a favorite element of shows and books for me. And originally, I wasn't going to put dates in the chapters, but I thought that would get too confusing for readers and then you guys would hate me. So, so I was like,
Mhm.
I
let's keep it
mean,
a little simpler.
Lisa knows as much as I am such a fan of a map, I love a good, like, love a good
Timeline.
date set.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I
so
need to know.
that's gonna make me aesthetically happy.
Yeah. And then even just as a writer and a human, I forget.
Well, because you have dates on every chapter, do
Yeah.
you have like a timeline written out for you?
Oh, yeah.
Like a visual sort of
I
thing
have
that you'd be
a
posting with it?
40-year timeline going for the series and the vampire series
Wow.
and the witches series, which I have
I
not
love
announced.
that. I love that. I've started making a timeline for the SJM books just to like see where everything is lining
Yeah.
up.
Sometimes it's necessary. I know one of my beta readers started her own timeline for the books too, for my books, because she was like,
Aw.
I need to make sure everything is like I can follow it, and I was like, do you, girl? I'm
Mhm.
not gonna. I would love to share you my
Um,
timeline, but it has spoilers. So
that's something
Right.
as a writer though, like you must be super happy about because like I don't know, I would feel honored if someone like
yeah.
did that for my like writing or my book or whatever. Like,
Oh, girl, it's been
Mhm.
so fun. Like my beta readers and my ARC readers, they have sent me images of them going to Hobby Lobby or TJ Maxx
ha!
and getting a notebook just for the book, so they can
Aw.
take notes as they read. I'm like, you're invested, and I love that. Like, I thought you were just gonna read the book, but no, you're diving in. It's so cool.
Since changing it from YA to more of an adult, this is said as the virgin, like, who doesn't write, by the way. Um maybe the virgin who should write should be talking about this, but I'm just saying because we're very like open about that kind of stuff in terms of how we talk about this, because I want to break this stigma
Mhm.
of in our modern like day about like, I don't know, feeling ashamed
Virgins can
about
talk
that.
about sex.
Thanks for
Know about sex? What?
we think about it
What?
all the time.
I'm a virgin and I'm a smut writer, so how does that work?
How did you change your writing from the YA to the adult, and was it like difficult?
No, it was not difficult. Just to start.
Hey.
I thought about this question a lot. Because, and I thought about that decision a lot to go from YA to adult romantasy, because adult romantasy obviously includes sex, and it obviously includes deeper, darker aspects of sex. And then language and politics. Um,
Right.
and the decision, the decision that was hard to make was the re-release, because if I was going to
Mm.
do that, I would have to re-release the book. So I was kind of going back and forth about that, but it was never about going from YA to adult fantasy, because um it just gave me more freedom to write. And it's like, as a writer, as a creative person, we hate a fucking box. Do not
Yep.
put me in a fucking box. Like, that's not gonna work for
That
me.
limits it so much.
That will piss me the fuck off.
Mhm.
No, I already have a
You
nine
will
to
throw
five
the box at them.
where I have to follow rules. I am not going to do that in my creative space. Yeah, and if you have a problem with that, I mean, of course, there's lines, right? With everything, like legal stuff, like
Mhm.
you don't touch. Like you
Yeah.
can brush against it, but sometimes some things are just like too much.
Mhm.
We're not going there. But yeah, just having that freedom to explore darker themes, and sex is a very important aspect of life. Sex, relationships, and how it changes our identity, how it changes our brain chemistry, how the way we think. It's important, and I felt that was a very, especially when I was writing book two, that was a very important topic that came up in book two, and it for the FMC, and it shaped what she needed in the bedroom. I just had to. So that was also where I was like, okay, this needs to be an adult romanticy. It's like, I have to talk about this. This is important.
Yeah.
And then the curses that are in my book for certain books revolves around sex and family stuff. And it was not a hard decision to make, and I'm glad I did it.
As someone who over time has experienced more, like piece by piece, I feel, because I'm like a fucking jigsaw puzzle that hasn't been finished yet. I underestimated that part of like how much it does change. I don't want to say changes me, but like what, like when you start figuring out like what you don't like, and how that is like very, because like everything's theoretical until you get into the bedroom or do it with some, like it, until you get in that situation, and it's like that's where the virgin ignorance comes in, and we're like, I appreciate a good
I
book.
think virgin ignorance, I think, it's just experience. Like
Thank you for
what I
not.
would have thought I liked or wanted when I was 16, 18, 20
Mhm.
is not what I want or need or desire now as a 30-year-old. Like, my tastes have changed and evolved. And that's not wrong. It's just, as you grow up, you experience new things and you learn new things. You meet new people and they teach you things, and
Right.
it's the beauty of life, right?
Thanks for like rephrasing that so I didn't put myself down and like and making it.
We build
So
up.
my orgy days are over. Um I'm turning up. I'm a no. I'm wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny as fuck if I came out and just said, "Hey, by the way, I've been having like I'm a reborn again virgin." Like I'm, which
You've
is a
been saying
thing.
you're a virgin this whole time, but turns out you're just reborn again.
Which is okay, here's the thing. I respect everybody and like what they think, but sometimes when someone who's, and if you've had a lot of sex, that's great. Sometimes when those women though are just like, yes, I'm a virgin reborn again, I'm kind of like sitting there, and they've had like the most of hoe phases. I'm just sitting there like, you know what, you do what you want to do.
You do you, man.
Label whatever you want to label yourself as.
I'm just sitting there, my practical brain, my Virgo placement is kind of just sitting there like,
that's not how it works.
That's not like, are you making fun of us real virgins or something?
I mean, I don't know, but I feel like celibate is the better word.
Yeah, let's go with that, because it's just like, it's because in my, okay, this is gonna sound fucked up, but like in my brain, like it's like when someone says that, I'm practically thinking like, it's like, okay, I just like sewed myself up.
Yeah.
Like I'm now like I'm now good as new. It just appeared in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know what happened. And so like, because again, that's where my tism comes out, right? Where I'm like, I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, it's not a practical thing, it's more like an emotional thing. And I'm like, honestly, at that point, just fuck it. Do what you want, say what you want, whatever. As long as you're not hurting me and I don't have to hear about your escapade, I think we're good. I think I'm fine.
No, the beauty of speaking to say anything at all either.
That's true.
Label yourself
That's
as
true.
anything. You can just exist. That's also a thing.
Yes.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Or born again.
Whether you're a virgin, whether you're a born again virgin, whether you love sex, whether you're celibate, you don't have to announce it.
Right. That like labels are such, anyway. That's a conversation.
I don't need to know that.
That labels, that's another podcast.
Yeah, I did not know we were talking about celibacy here.
So speaking of celibacy,
so in this, I said that I had some orgy parties. I've been lying to you guys this whole time, and now I'm back to celibate.
I'm a reliable narrator.
I know, I can't be trusted. I'm sorry.
Like, the thing is, she's embodying Rose right now. She's had a wipe of her memory. She doesn't remember.
Do you know though, before we continue, what I made a joke, like, and when I think this was, I was like a senior in college, and I didn't live near my parents. Here's the thing. I told my dad just out, like, we were on a phone call, and I remember just being like, well, you know what? I don't like, I think we were talking about like romance. I was like, well, how do you know I didn't have sex last night? And he just goes, ah, like that happened. And I go, what the fuck? I said, I could have. It's like, why am I in this situation where my dad is like laughing at me thinking like, ah, you didn't have sex.
You know,
End of phone call. Like, I don't believe you.
Laughs in your face.
well,
Like, he meant it like in a good way where it
yeah.
was just like, okay, I know you're trying to like fuck with me, but like I just can't believe what you're saying. Cause like in my dad's mind, he's like, I would have met the boy first, and I'm like, Dad, LA.
Not even funny.
And then I moved to LA and became a whore. But anyway, let's get.
I mean, you've got stripper coats now. Anyway, do you have any advice for those who pick up your book? Any warnings for what to expect?
Just in general, I would read the author's note and remember it. Do not skip over the author's note because you're not going to understand why some things are written. Why they're like, you will have a lot more questions, but if you read the author's note, you understand that you're supposed to have those questions. You won't feel as frustrated. You still will, but
no, I like that. You're forcing them to read the author's note.
I mean, isn't that what the author's note is for? At the beginning, it's always at the beginning of the book. It's like, read it, and most people skip over it.
Yeah, but a lot of people skip over it, especially if you have like an educational, like a textbook background. You skip all that intro shit.
That is true.
With books, and I feel like, especially with dark romantasy, dark romance, there's a reason why authors put an author's note.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it kind of taints the book because it's like, they kind of like make it seem darker than the book actually is, but that's depending on everybody's level of darkness, right? But I don't talk about the darkness levels. It's more about the mental experience that you'll have reading the book.
Well, and also they sometimes put that in there for like just base trigger warnings, like at the end of an
like a disclaimer. Yeah. But no, I have a trigger warning page. I have a content warning page, but then I also have an author's note. And I hope you don't hate me after you read the book.
I'm looking forward to reading your book.
I'm warned.
I won't promise, but like, I mean, I'll still love you, but I might.
You'll love it.
Obviously, we talked about like your re-release, but like as an author and as being someone who's not in the author space, what were the hardships like in, well, while writing it, but also just pursuing the publication?
So while writing, personally, like obviously, like I said, I've been writing for a really long time, but with As Worlds Tilt, just Rose's dual personality was an interesting challenge because I needed to remember what she remembered, what she didn't remember, what she remembered at this chapter, what she didn't remember. It was a lot. Post-its and notes everywhere. So just writing that was a little challenging, and then writing Josh's point of view was also challenging because I'm not a dude.
Right.
I'm not a dude, so I had to like make sure he didn't seem too emotional or too angry or whatever. Like I needed to find that decent balance where he seemed like a normal fucking guy who's going through a lot. Yeah, so I was like, I really thought about like reaching out to like my guy friends and just having them like just tell me, hey, does this sound like a dude? But like seeing the content in my books, I'm like, probably not the best idea. And publishing is there's always challenges, especially as an indie author. It's just, I mean, I'm sure trad authors have their own headaches, but as an indie author, it's just publishing. The process from the beginning to release day and even after, it's just time is the biggest challenge because there's only so many fucking hours in the day, and I do have a day job, I do have personal life, social life, and everything kind of just goes on pause, but you can't because you have to do life. But with publishing, my biggest challenge was this book, as thick as it is, was over 1,000 pages. Amazon said, no, babe, you can't publish more than 550 pages for hardcover for a 6x9 cut. And I was
Huh.
like, that is literally half the book.
Mm.
So this was February. So I had to cut the book in half and then rearrange a lot of scenes and take out the big events that happen because it can't happen in the first half of the book because that's the second half. So anyways, I had to
Yeah.
rewrite the story pretty much and cut the book in half, and not just cut it in half because, like I said, it was supposed to be a trilogy. So now it's a 6-book series, and each MMC FMC is a duology. So it's a 6-book series, but you can read them as duologies. It's
Yeah.
a little complicated, but
So it's like 3 duologies.
yes,
Got
and
it.
they compile as the one series.
And they're like they're standalone in the sense. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't read them as a standalone.
No,
But like in the sense of like it follows like people in the duology, and then it follows other people and in the other duology, and then so on.
yeah, but they have an overarching problem
Yeah.
that they're facing, and it's like a generational war, right? That they're fighting with the bad people. Try not
I love
to
that.
give spoilers away, but so the duologies conclude their love story, but I mean it continues because they show up in the other books, the later books, and then you see them having kids and babies and grandbabies and whatever, right? And like the spin-off series is going to be one of their babies, so it's
I love the generational like.
Yeah, because I mean it's just like I said, Rose and Josh are very special to me and I don't want them to go away.
It reminds me of how I felt about wanting to see similarly like the 500-year war in Akatar. Wanting to see like that generational stuff that I like we didn't get to see. It was all like it was all stories, or it was all like hearsay. Versus like now it's like we get to see in this new world that you've created. We get to see that.
Yeah.
As it's happening, and like I love that. I love the idea of like seeing something and then later down the line, like whether it's 5 books later or whatever, being like, oh, you remember that moment? Now that's like an iconic thing now.
Yeah.
And I love that I got to witness it.
And also, like, I'm also trying to keep you guys reading my books forever.
Of course.
So
Bring
you
in the
have
money.
book 1 if you want to read this.
Hell yeah. I mean, I am partial to like a long series just because like, especially if it's good.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like sometimes if it gets to a Grey's Anatomy level where it's like 21 seasons in and it's like
yet. And with Vampire Diaries too, like I feel like they should have stopped at season 5 or 6 or whatever it was. It just went on for 2 extra seasons and we're like, stop. But
she wasn't even there.
That was another reason why I decided on different FMCs and MMCs for the series. Because personally, after they get together, I'm bored.
I see. No,
you know, like I'm glad you guys are in a relationship, and now it's a little mundane, you know, and then it's just the romance part just kind of dies down for me. And it's like there's only so much you can write and keep it interesting. So I was like, okay, new couple, new problems. I like that part.
I appreciate though how you, because again the practical in me loves this idea of like showing the struggles of also just, okay, I went in with a plan. You were gonna you were gonna publish it to Amazon, or like, you know, and then all of a sudden like this unknown standard that you didn't know, and then you had to rework shit. It's like, I don't know, like I wouldn't immediately shut down or something like that, but I could see how like that would, someone would be like, I don't even know where to go after that. Like, how do I even split this up?
It was devastating because I was like, I had a plan. This is supposed to be a trilogy, like, and now what do I do? And book 1 can't be like Rose and Josh can't have 2 books and then everybody else has 1 book, like that. Like my OCD is just like no. My OCD stepped in and said no. So you can do a 3-book. You cut down a lot, but I couldn't because the story, because especially with dual point of views and the smut, like the book blew up, you know. So it went from this thin little babe to this fat bitch. So, like, how do we?
Little babe to a fat bitch.
That was so mean, but
no, I felt
it's like she's a lot and she is a bitch. like editing is not fun. The drama. like it was really like I can't even imagine how much bigger this book would have been if it was another 500 pages. I never got to see it because Amazon wouldn't do it. But my goal for my page number goal was Crescent City and Brimstone. So
Well, and it adds like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like you learn on the go, and it's like now that you know that, like the preparation to go in, it's like once you do something once, it's like you have more knowledge, and then you could like it's good. So I bet that feels good.
But yes, as we are getting towards the end of our
I'm so
interview,
sad.
so sad. It's been amazing talking with you. We just wanted to ask you, as this production is, as your book is about to be released, what's next for you? What's next in your near future?
so book release is April 18th. Pre-orders will be going live next week, hopefully, for Kindle Unlimited, for Kindle books, ebooks. And with so I'm working out the timeline for book 2 currently, like the publication, because I had a plan for it, but I got a download last night, and it was I heard a month, and I was like, that is too fucking soon. But we're gonna like I have to talk to my PAs, and we need to work some stuff out and see if that's even possible. But so that's a very recent development for book
Okay.
2. I will be writing book 2, like investing in book 2 starting May. So
Okay.
yeah, so it'll be my summer project.
I love that.
And yeah, so that's what we have for book 2.
So I have a little question. Um I I heard down the grapevine that there is something that you want to share with our audience today that I'm very excited about.
I am very excited to share this because I've been sitting on this since January. Um,
Nice big egg.
I have started casting for the audiobook for Asriel's Tilt. I have signed a female narrator who I am very happy to announce today on this podcast interview. And our female narrator for Asriel's Tilt is none other than Tabitha.
Whee!
And honestly, like, Tabitha, your audition, audition is one of my favorite stories to tell.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to tell it. I want to tell it. So Tabitha and I were having a meeting, and I knew through a friend of ours that Tabitha was also a narrator. So I was like, you know what, it won't hurt, because I had an idea of who I wanted for the male narrator, and I knew what kind of voice I wanted for the male narrator, for Josh especially. But for Rose especially, I just could not pin down which narrator I wanted, because Rose's point of view is the heaviest narration in the book, right? And narrators can make or break a book, and that is just the reality of it, especially if you're 100% an audiobook listener. Personally, I'm 100% audiobook reader, listener, and I'm very picky about my narrators, because you have to listen to this person the entire book, and my book was coded at 22 hours, and that's a long time. So I was like, I have to love her voice, and in my mind, as an author, you hear a voice for your main characters or your characters in general. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I know a lot of female narrators, and they're very lovely, but I just could not, like, I never heard a voice, and I just went, that's it, that's Rose. Like, listening to all these books that I've been listening to, and I was doing research too, as I'm listening to these stories. I'm like, okay, is that Rose's voice? Would she be good for Rose? Should I like reach out to her and have her, do a sample audition or something? And I just I couldn't even figure out who I wanted to even do that. And then so me and Tabitha were on at this meeting, and I was like, do you want to do a cold read? Because why not? And the second she started, I was like, yep, That's Rose. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now just like remembering it. And it was just so beautiful, and he literally just fell into my lap. Oh, are you gonna start crying?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, no, I mean I get chills, and it's actually like it was very emotional for me too. Like I could not believe how easy it was to find Rose. And just getting to know Tabitha throughout these past months, I'm just like I couldn't have picked somebody better. I wouldn't like having to find narrators for my books. It's just it's it's really hard to replace a narrator who is so perfect for the role. Like it's heartbreaking, and you it's I wouldn't even know where I would go if I had to ever recast. Don't go anywhere.
No, we got a
Time to
contract,
stay.
baby. There's nothing to do there.
But yeah, so I was so excited when she did the cold read. And it was a lot of characters in that scene. And she did amazing.
Well, and we like talked about it for a long time, like before, like because I wanted to, especially when I'm doing a cold read, because that's first of all, I'm just gonna let everyone know that's the bane of every like narrator's existence, is to be asked to do a cold read. But like I don't mind it because as someone who's done a lot of stage acting, it's like that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. If I get a setup on the scene and I get like we went through every character that was mentioned or even talked at all, and I was like, hey, like just give me a little bit of their vibe, because
Yeah.
in my mind I'm already thinking, okay, boom boom boom, like I'm thinking of tropes, thinking of things in my head to like sit, because again, been in so many catacall auditions where something like that happens. After hearing you talk about your story, I just, as someone like a lover of these books, like I was already invested from when you started talking about it.
Yeah.
And well, and I read it like before, because like when you sent it, like I'd read it.
I just love hearing you guys talk back and forth how you're collaborating. Like, it makes me so excited to listen to it.
Oh, it's so fun.
That was the biggest thing I told you when we had the meeting, because I said something that I've always done in every one of my spaces is wanted to collaborate, because I am so honored to be in the place that I am, where I can bring amazing stories to life in a completely different way. And like, so I'm even honored the fact that someone, and especially you, just hearing my voice, like that's never something like in my brain that I thought like 10 years ago someone would say to me.
Hey, listen, a year ago I didn't even know I was going to do an audiobook. Like that was not in the plans. It was a conversation. I took a mutual friend of ours out to coffee, and just to like just explore the idea. Like I knew it was expensive. I knew it was not in my budget. Like I was just like but I don't know, for whatever reason it was kind of like just picking at me. Like I was just getting poked by the divine. Just like, we need to do this, we need to do this, like just start looking into it, you know. And I was like, first of all, I didn't even publish the book yet. Can we take a step at a time? But I don't know, for whatever reason I just knew I needed to have that conversation. And so we went to coffee, had the conversation, got me connected with you, and the rest is kind of history. Because and then like again, like it is expensive to do an audiobook production, because I mean I thought we just needed narrators and they were gonna do that, but no, you need a production manager. And I was like, just keeps getting a lot and a lot and a lot. And then I learned about Kickstarters, and it's a whole process. And I don't know, as an indie author, like I'm learning so much, and it's very, very overwhelming. It's scary. Sometimes I just want to stay in bed and cry. but it's also very exciting, because it's like, shit, you can't give up. And it's like, this is it's not only just my baby, it's my dream. And it just makes me, like, as a reflection from where I am now to where I was a year ago, like that is just crazy, like the journey. And listen, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like yeah, it's just it's it's very rewarding, I would say, to just get thrown into these projects that I'm doing to myself. But like, you have to figure it out, because who's going to do it for you? No one. So
I think that's like the biggest thing. And even just like my acting stuff, even before I got into voiceover, was something that I always say this was that there was a little girl when I was doing Little Shop of Horrors. And I feel like I always say horrors, but it's horrors.
Little
My
drop of horrors.
my accent is coming out of like I think my biggest thing of why I do this and probably really my only because I am religious. We've talked about this. Like
Which is why
I'm
you're perfect for Rose too. Throwing it in there.
just the divine.
Experience with religion.
I know. God loves me.
He does.
It was the idea that I even if one person in the audience felt how do I say like inspired by my performance. Like there was a little girl who came up to me and she was just like, "I want to do what you do." And I was like and again, I wasn't even like a huge character at the time. No, I was like almost about to and there was when I moved to LA and like cuz obviously being from a small town and moving to like to do this kind of stuff. Not even just people who like want to be an actor or like in the inverse on you being an author. Just inspiring anybody to do whatever the fuck they want.
Follow your
Like
dreams.
yeah, I had an old coworker of mine, Haley Hala. She was like, you know, I thought no one leaves this job. No one leaves this job. No one leaves to go follow their dreams. Haha. These like exec guys laugh at shit like that. And it's like, you did it. You left. You said, I'm going to stay here for 2 years and I'm out. I'm going to follow my dreams, do what I want. And when I heard her in she sent me like a voice memo that was super emotional. And it was like, wow, I inspired this person who is not my field, does nothing to do with acting, but like just somehow that triggered her to want to do something.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree, and I'm getting chills just like hearing you talk about it. And one thing, like, it might be TMI, but my personal life is just I never knew what I wanted to fucking do with my life. You know, like I didn't know what career move I wanted to do. Like, yeah, I had the realistic plan, but do I love it? Fuck no. Like, the realistic plan is never fun, but does it pay the bills? Yeah, it does. But it also eats at your soul, especially if you don't have a creative outlet or something that you're very passionate about. And luckily, I did always have reading and writing for a long time. Like I was never in Bookstagram. I never had a Bookstagram. I was never involved in the writing community. Nothing. I just read my books in my own little world, wrote my stories in my own little world, and then I published. And then I started reading and I realized Bookstagram is a thing, and I was like, oh shit.
Right.
But it's just I never knew what I wanted to do, and then like now being an indie author and learning to do all this and like not only just publishing and audiobooks and stuff like but the admin side of it too. Like it's a business. And you have to be smart about it. You have to run it like a business, and it's not the fun stuff because I just wanted to write a story.
Right.
But
Right.
now it just makes it more realistic at the same time because it's like it is a business. Wait, you can sustain yourself with this. And just to talk about like how you just quit your job after 2 years of doing it and following your dreams. Like I 100% support that. Like I've quit jobs in the past where I knew it wasn't the right fit anymore, and I had no backup plan. I didn't know how I was going to make my money for the next month for rent or bills or whatever. I had no plan, barely any savings. But I just knew I couldn't be there. And was it the smartest decision? No, but I always figured it out. And I think
Mm.
that's what it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but like I've never been afraid to take a leap of faith, I think. And just trust the fucking process and the universe's plan in you. Like hindsight 2020, but at the same time it's just if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to? Why would somebody else believe in you if you don't? So I think, and that also ties in with Rose, like bringing it back full circle. Rose
Hey.
and her power because she can't trust anybody. She can't even trust herself. But the only thing she actually can trust in is her own power, which she is. She has a rare power, and she believes in that, and that's what's gonna get her through. Yeah,
That hits me in the feels.
just got real quiet.
No, I wanted to give Liesel space. We're holding space. I wanted to give her space because I can just see her face and like everything you're saying is like inspiring her, and like I can just see it on her face as we're like going. And I
Yeah,
don't. You have the
we can
floor,
talk
dude.
about that later. What I will say is that I am going through a hard period of time right now where I potentially will not be living in this house anymore sometime this year, and I have not been able to get a job for 2 years, pretty much. So
Mm.
things are very scary right now. So everything you just said is just like that hit me.
So I'm excited to. Well, first of all, favorite guest, just not only because of the relationship we've built like off screen, but like just what's more to come, and like lifting each other up. And that's been something over the past couple weeks that we've been even just realizing with each other about this community of like really being there for each other and lifting each other up as not only as women but as like just people in this space
Artists.
and creative artists. And I'm so happy you came on. It's not the end of you, obviously, and it won't be the end of you because there are more books to come and all that. So you'll be.
Mm-hmm.
So before I segue into our outro, I wanted to tell the audience. So I also have like a fun what we're doing. So we're gonna have a part 2 to this interview. Obviously, this was giving space for like the book and your writing and all that, but we will have our own separate interview with us three after we have post me and Lisa reading the book, and our thoughts are like it'll be like all spoiler, and also talking about, because I know you have questions for me about narrating and process. And when you brought this idea to me, I was like, hell yeah, sure, this is great. I've also never had someone be like, I think the only person who ever asked us a question was Henry Kramer back.
Yeah.
He was the only interviewee I remember who was like, oh, wait, can I ask you guys a question? I was like,
He was like asking what we
please.
thought of his voice.
He's like, so how'd you guys think of it? I was like,
He's like, did I do a good job as Tamlin?
did we not already like specify like how good you did? Like, what do you like? We've been saying that this whole day.
We've been praising you this whole time.
So I'm also excited to announce that having more available time, I'm taking a lot more. I've said this in my update video, but taking some more care of myself and for my own processes. And so we're up and running with trying to do more live streams. And so basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to have 2 live streams in a month. One will be kind of like a check-in, maybe some sort of like, I don't know, if something's happening in pop culture, who the fuck, something. Just like a check-in just for us to talk and whatnot. And then I've been waiting for us to do this, and it'll be the first with As Worlds Till, which is so exciting. But we will be having like a book club of the month thing where we just go on live and just fucking, not only are we doing an interview for the pod about it, but just doing that to kind of do it for future books, because obviously we're deep diving Throne of Glass right now, and that's going to take us a minute. But there's so many other books I want to share with Liesel and just like talk about with you guys that I have been dying to talk about but can't really in like the pod space because there's only so much you can do in a time.
It will just be live streams where we talk about our reactions to the books.
I love that.
So I'm excited to do that personally.
Just sorry, I've been thinking about this the entire time we've been recording. When you said that she was the only female in this warrior pack, like I was literally thinking reverse harem. Is this what's happening? Reverse harem here.
No.
And I'm like, I know that's not what's happening because, since I'm an ARC reader for you, I read through your like blurb in the beginning. And it's like, I know that's not the case. But like, I just hear one female in a group of men.
Yeah, and late saying dark romance, that's kind of where people's heads go, and that's why I've been trying to steer away from the dark romance genre.
I mean, I'm kind of glad you went that different direction, but
I mean, I could have easily done that. And there are instances in the book where it's like, oh, is something gonna happen? But no. And there's one vampire that there is, not to be too spoilers, like give spoilers away, but there is, readers have hope for a threesome or like a throuple situation, but this is not that. This is 100% fated mates. Rose and Josh are endgame. That's the only spoiler I'll give right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, there's no.
No, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect
Marital.
sense.
Hey, I think it shows a fandom though if thruple and or like Lisa could be your first fanfic of just like of like,
Yeah.
hey, I wanted this to be a reverse harem, but now I'm making it like, I feel like in a way like that's like, so in a weird way, like to anyone outside of the book world or creative world, they'd be like, the fuck you want a fanfic reverse? Like, look at all those Potterheads who are just like Hermione, or even like, what are they, like Malfoy and Potter stands like fanfic. It's like, I think that's a telltale of a fandom that you've made a good book.
Yeah.
That happens.
If people want to write fan fiction about your writing,
it's good.
That's so funny that this came up in today's interview, because I was literally talking about this with some of my ARC readers, because they were talking about another author doing a fanfic of another indie author's books and stuff like that. And personally, I had a very interesting outlook on it, because I was like, as an indie author, as for another author to say, I want to do a fanfic of your book, or not even a fanfic, like I want to make your book better, that's a little insulting, first of all.
Oh yeah, that not no.
Don't do a rewrite of your book. I
Yeah,
mean, we're already
so
doing
that's
that.
kind of how the conversation started. But then it went into like fanfics and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like if your book is like, if people are writing fanfics about your book, then that's fucking crazy. Like that's a good thing. That's just phenomenal. Like you want to be that author. You want to be SJM. You want to be J.K. Rowling writing these fanfics of their stories. Like how invested are you in their world that you want to write your own version of it? Like that's beautiful to me. So
it means that you're thinking about the world and the characters that this author
really
has created.
I've written a few fanfics, and I've definitely written a Harry Potter fanfic. Two of them. So you really have to know the story to do that, or else how are you writing a fanfic? Because then it's not even a good one. So.
It's got to be flushed out. You got to like the world. It shows not only like a good story, but a good practical world setup to where you can pick from it.
Just know that I probably will not read it.
That's fair, though. I mean, I'm also not
fair.
a writer, so like I'm not writing a fanfic.
Well, just because like I have my characters in my mind a certain way, and then if you tell me that Rose is getting it on with all the warriors, I'm like, those are her brothers. What the fuck do you mean?
Especially if you're still like writing through some of your stories as well, like that can get a little confusing too, because it's like you have a set line for what your characters are and what's happening.
I mean,
yeah.
I bet celebrities feel the same way though in a fanfic where they're just like, I really don't want to read about myself having sex with like these people. So like I get you not wanting to read a fanfic. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great, Lisa.
But yes, thank you so much for coming on, and for our readers and fans, thank you so much. You are what makes this go round. Please follow us on the Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If Facebook still is, people like being
Some
on Facebook.
people still watch it.
I'm on there for my cousins that I don't have any other communications with.
Right, exactly. But it's still there for everyone. Again, our Discord server is always going to be in the link. We're going to add your link tree into the description, also along with, the book. Again, by this point, that when it's going to come out, at least maybe having like the pre-order link maybe in there or something.
I don't have the pre-order link just yet. It'll probably be out next week.
Yeah, so I guess like when it comes out, like we can have it in there. But yeah, like thank you so much for listening up until this point, and I'm very personally invested and excited for.
She's a little biased, but I understand why.
A little biased, but that's okay.
She's only the female narrator.
It's our and I'm so honored to like just be in on this collaboration project. So this is great.
I'm so excited to read this.
So we'll see you guys all in the next episode. So bye guys.
Bye.